वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा समस्त जनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। लक्ष्मी करोतु कल्याणम् आरोग्यं सुखसम्पदं मम शत्रुविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते।
श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम।
नारी बिलो कही हर्षि हया निज निज रुचि अनुरूपा जनु सोहत सिंगार धरी मूर्ति परम सब सुख दाता राम ही चितव भाय जहि सिया सो स्नेहु सुख नहीं कतनिया पुर अनुभव तिन कही सक सो कवन प्रकार कहे कवि को जहि विधि रहा जाहि जस भाव तेहि तस देखो को सगराओ
राम जय राम जय जय राम।
सिय शोभा नहीं जाई भगानी, जगदम्बिका रूप गुण गानी। उपमा सकल मोहि लघु लागी, प्राकृत नारी अंग अनुरागी। सिय बरनिय तेहि उपमा देई, उपबी कहि अजस बोलेई। चौपट चरियति समसिया, जग अति शुभति कहा कन्हैया। गिरा मुकर जन अरर भवानी, रति अति दुखित अतनुपति जानी। विष बारुनि बंधु प्रिय जेहि, कहिया राम सम किमि वैदेही। चौचबु सुरा पयोधिरि होई, परम रूप मय कछु सोई। शोभा राजु बदनु सिंगारू, बदई पानि पंकज निज मारू।
श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम।
यही विधि उपजाई लक्ष्य जब, सुंदरता सुख मूला। तरपि सकोच समेत छवि, कहहि सिया समतूला।
श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम।
चली संग लई सखी सयानी, गावत गीत मनोहर बानी। सोहन वलदनु सुंदर सारी, जगत जननी अतुलित छवि बारी। भूषण सकल सुदेश सुहाई, अंग अंग रचि सिकहा बनाई। रंग भूमि जब सिय बगुधारी, देखी रूप मोहे नर नारी। हर्षि सुरन धुंधुभि बजाई, बरषि कुसुम अपच्चर गाई। पानि सरोज सोह जयमाला, अब चट चितई सकल भूला। सिय चकिता चित राम ही जान, भय मोह बस सब नर नाहा। मुनि समीप देखे दाऊ भाई, लगी लगी लोचन निधि पाई।
श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम।
गुरजन लाज समाज बर, देखि सिया सकुचानी। लागी बिलोकन सकन जन, रघुबीर ही उरानी।
श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम।
राम रूप अरुसिय छवि देखे, नर नारि न परिहरि निमेषे। सो कहि सकल कहत कहु जाहि, विधि सन विनय करहि मन माहि। अरु विधि देहि जनक चर जाई, मति हमारी अस देहि सुहाई। बिनु विचारु बनु तजि नर नाहु, सिया राम कर करे विवाहु। रघुबल कहि बाव सब काहू, भज कीन्हे अंतहु पुर दाहू। यही लाल समगन सब लोगु, पुर सामवानु सन की जोगु। तब बंदी जन जनक बुलाए, बिरदावली कहत चली आए। कहन पुजाई कहु बन मोरा, चली बात बिरहन सुन तोरा।
श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम।
बोले बंदी बचन बर, सुनहु सकल महिपाला। पनि विदेह कर कहि हम, पूजो जाऊ ताई बिसाला।
श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम
जाई। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। भूप सहस जस एक ही बारा, लग उतावल करे न तारा। जगैन शंभु सरासन कैसे, कामी बचन सती मनु जैसे। सबन भये जोगु प्रहासी, जैसे बिनु विराग सन्यासी। कीरति विजय विराटा भारी, चले चाप कर बरबस हारी। श्री हति भये हारी राजा, बैठे निज निज जाई समाजा। विपन बिलोकी जनक अकुलाने, बोले बचन रोष जनु साने। दीप दीप के भूपति नाना, आई सुनी हम जो मनु ताना। देवत तुझ धरि मनुज शरीरा, उपल पीर आए रणधीरा। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। रंगाबली बजरंगाबली, पवन तनय बजरंगाबली। 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 अतुलित बल का धाम है तू, श्री राम दूतम सेवक है तू। अतुलित बल का धाम है तू, श्री राम दूतम सेवक है तू। अतुलित बल का धाम है तू, श्री राम दूतम सेवक है तू। तन तेरा मन तेरा शक्ति बरी, रात अंधेरी तेरी ज्योति जली। मिलने से पहले श्री राम जी, पूजन करो श्री हनुमान जी। रंगाबली बजरंगाबली, पवन तनय बजरंगाबली। मरियार सिंधु उतारे चले, लंकापति तूने आज्ञा के ले। मरियार सिंधु उतारे चले, लंकापति तूने आज्ञा के ले। मरियार सिंधु उतारे चले, लंकापति तूने आज्ञा के ले। बजरंगा बली, पवन तनय बजरंगा बली, पवन तनय बजरंगा बली, पवन तनय बजरंगा बली। श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम 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 जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम, जय राधा काल चंद्र राधे राम।
साथी है मित्र गंग के जल बिंदु पान तक, अर्धांगिनी बढ़ेगी तो केवल मकान तक। परिवार के सब लोग चलेंगे स्मशान तक। बेटा भी हक निभाएगा तो अग्निदान तक। इससे तो आगे, इससे तो आगे भजन ही है साथी, हरि के भजन बिन अकेला रहेगा। इससे तो आगे इससे तो आगे भजन ही है साथी, हरि के भजन बिन अकेला रहेगा। इससे तो आगे
हरि के भजन बिना अकेला रहेगा।
जीवन ये 2 दिन का मेला रहेगा, कायम न जग का जमेला रहेगा। जीवन ये 2 दिन का कायम न जग का जमेला रहेगा। जीवन ये 2 दिन का रहेगा, कायम जग का जमेला रहेगा। इससे तो आगे नहीं है साथी, हरि के भजन बिन अकेला रहेगा। इससे तो आगे भजन ही है साथी, हरि के भजन बिन अकेला रहेगा। इससे तो आगे, इससे तो आगे, इससे तो आगे। Let us all join in salutations to Lord Ganesh, to Mother Saraswati, to Guru, to Bhagwan Ram, to Hanumanji. Om Gajananam भूतगणाभिषेकम् कपितजम्बू फलसारभक्षणम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम्। या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता। सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती, सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती। निःशेष जाड्यापहा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। लोकाभिरामं रणरङ्गधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरं तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं नरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये। बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम।
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 मंगल भवन मंगल हारी प्रभु दशरथ अजिर बिहारी। श्री राम जय राम
जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
काहू न को सुख दुख कर दाता निज कृत कर्म भोग सब भ्राता।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
राम कथा के तेई अधिकारी जिनके सत संगति अति प्यारी।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
राम चरण बारिज जब देखो तब निज जन्म सफल कर लेखो।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
अवध कहाँ जहाँ राम निवासु दिवस तहई जहाँ भानु प्रकाशु।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
रामचंद्र गुण बरने लागा सुनत ही सीता कर दुख भागा।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
गुरु बिनु भवनिधि तरई न कोई जो बिरंची कर सम होई।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम।
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम।
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम।
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम
राम राजा राम 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 सीता राम राम राम।
राजा राम 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 सीता राम
राम राम श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय। Okay, if you are joining us today for the first time, we are seeing Balkand. We are still in the Balkand. Bhagwan Ram, Lakshmana, they are in Janakpur. Janakpur is the city where Sita ji was born. It is in today modern day Nepal. And Mithila Desh, it is also called. Sometimes you hear that name as well. Huh? And they took a round of the city and saw everything there, and then they came back and they pressed the Guru's feet, went to sleep, and next morning they went to Pushpaka Vatika, the most enchanting garden of Janakji Maharaj. And there, Bhagwan Ram and Sita ji, they saw each other. And of course, each enraptured by the sight of the other. And Sita ji tells, it is an old relationship. It is relationship between Bhagwan Vishnu and Lakshmi ji herself. Anyway, now the worry on Sita ji's mind was whether this Rama could break that bow, could string that bow as Janakji Maharaj had put the condition. And she went and prayed to Gauri, and Gauri blessed her. That yes, you will certainly have that husband who is there in your mind, meaning Rama. But I told you now, even though we know things, worry does not leave us, you know. You see evidence also, and still worry does not leave. Fear, and so many things are there. So that will continue all the way down to the end. Anyway, now it is time for the Swayamvar itself. What does Swayamvar means? Where the bride gets to choose that husband herself. She'll walk down the line and she'll put the mala on the neck of that person whom she chooses. That is called Swayamvar. By oneself, one chooses. Otherwise, all marriages is to be arranged, isn't it? Arranged marriages. So this is why this name is given to the special ceremony, Swayamvar. And in this case now, Janakji Maharaj had added a different dimension to this whole thing. There, in that palace of Janakji, there was this Shiva Dhanush. And his condition was whoever could string that bow will be given Sita ji in marriage. Like that. So it was not, that is why here it is, the word which is used is Dhanush Yajna, not Swayamvar word. Dhanush Jagya, we saw that word. Huh? So anyway, Satananda Padabandi Prabhu Vaite Guru Pahi Jai, this is 239, we have to see there. And few verses down we'll see. Okay. Those of you who have your Ramayana, 239. Okay, aage. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Satanand Pad Bandi Prabhu Baithe Gur Pai Jai, Chal Utat Muni Kahe Utaba, Patwa Janak Bolai Siyavar Ramachandra Ki Jai Sharanam
Sita Rama.
सिय स्वयंवरु देखिए जाई, इसका ही गौ दे बड़ाई.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
लखन कहा जसु भाजनु सोई, नाथ कृपा तव जा पर होई.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
हर्षे मुनि सब सुनि बर Satananda Padabandi Prabhu, Satananji Maharaj had come to visit Vishwamitra, who sent by the king, Janakji Maharaj. Satananji is the Kula Guru, just like here in Ayodhya's palace, Dasharaji's palace, there Guru Vasishtha is there. So there in Janakpur, the Raj Guru is Satananji. Then Bhagavan Ram came in when two of them were there, Rama Lakshmana, and Bhagavan prostrated to the great sage Satananji. Actually, this Satananji, it is said he is the son of this Ahalya only, who they had, Bhagavan had. Anyway, you can go and do some research and you tell me also. Baithe Guru Pahi Jai, Bhagavan sat next to the Guru Chalahutat Muni Kahehu, Taba then the Muni Vasishtha Maharaj said, Chalo, my dear Rama, Pathava Janaka Bolai, Janakji Maharaj has sent for us. Then, see a Swayamvaru Dekhiya Jai. We have to go and see this Swayamvaru word is used there. So see a Swayamvaru. But in the same chaupa, if you go down a little bit, you will see. Or the same few we chanted just now, you go down a little bit, you see it is called the Dhanusha Makha. Dhanush Yajna. Makha is another word for Yajna. Makha. So, we have to go, now see the words. Swayamvaru dekhiya jai I sakahito de badai. This is the Guru speaking, Vishwamitra ji. What is he saying? We have to go and see the Swayamvar of Sita ji, and we'll see there which groom that Bhagwan has chosen for Sita ji. Which groom Bhagwan? Providence or destiny or all that such, badai, whatever you want to call it. Which groom? Dei badai. So, the Guru makes this comment, but listen to Lakshmana. Lakhana kaha jasa bhajanu soi naat kripat vacha par hoi. Lakshmana said, Oh Guruji, that Sita ji will get that groom whom you bless. Lakshman's words. And Harashe Muni Sava Sunivara Bani. All the Munis, there were so many Munis. So many had followed Vishwamitra ji to come there, and so many were there in that Janakpur, and so many had come just for the Swayamvar and all. All of them were so happy when Lakshmana said this. But whoever Vishwamitra ji blesses, he will be the groom of Sita ji. Dini all of them blessed Lakshmana. Sabahi Sukhumani. And then Puni Muni Brinda Sameta Kripala Dekhan Chale Dhanusha Makha Sala. Sala means Shala. Shala. Like Yajna Shala. You know that word? You have heard. So they all went there and see Tulsidaji's presentation. Look here. For Tulsidaji, there is nothing in this world except Rama. See Rama, Mai Sab Jagat Jani, Karo Pranam, Jodi Jugupani. See his presentation in that line. Puni Muni Brinda Samet Kripala Dekhana. Bhagwan Ram went there to see the Dhanush Yajna. Now see, so many countless Munis are there. But Tulsidas, all the Munis now went to see the Dhanush Yajna. Kripala went to see the Dhanush Yajna. Bhagwan Ram went to see the Dhanush Yajna. Along with all these Munis. Bhagwan Ram is the protagonist, and Tulsidaji doesn't miss the opportunity for anything. Kai mirul bachana vinit tinha bethare naranari uttama madhyama nicha laghu nija nija thala anuhari. In number 240. Why I'm telling all of these verses? People have a lot of comments about Hinduism, and these comments are made without really understanding Hinduism. And we also make many comments sometimes based on, you see, what happens is some social circumstances, they give rise to certain social problems. And then to rectify those social problems and all, we sing songs and we come up with teachings and, guidance and so many things. But really, if we just understand the teaching of the Sanatana Dharma, everything will be fine. There's no need for all of the things that we make up. In this Doha 240, I'll tell you. Listen to the words. Kahi mridu bachana vinit tinha, Baithare nar nari, all the men and women, everybody sat in their respective places. Okay. I mean, they all came here to this Dhanush Yajna, and there's this big Yajna Shala. Yajna Shala in Trinidad, don't think we had that word. What we have? Tent. In the tent. Right. So the proper word is Yajna Shala. And you should stop using the word tent. Start using the word Yajna Shala. Better. When people put up this bamboo structure with galvanized and all these type of things, what we call it? Tent only. And when that sankalpa is taken to do that yajna and we build this structure, that thing becomes a yajna shala. So, Pathshala, Goshala, this word you know. Pathshala is school. Goshala is a cow pen. Shala word. So, yajna shala. So now, all of them took their seat, their respective seats. See Tulsidaji in the second line, he says, Uttam, Madhyama, Neech, Laghu, Nija Nija Thala Anuhari. And this I'm telling is a very real representation of life. You see, you may sing lofty bhajans because you encountered some terrible social circumstances. Nobody is high and nobody is low and all that kind of thing, right? Why are we saying a bhajan like that? Ucha nicha na koi. Why you sing a bhajan like that? Because you encountered a social problem. What is the social problem? Well, some people develop the habit of looking down on others. Some people develop a very bad habit of looking down on others. Well, developing a bad habit of looking down on others does not in any way take away from the natural state of things in the universe. In natural, and that's why Sanatana Dharma is so wonderful. It really, at all times, it tells about the natural state of things. And I keep telling you, you don't say, no, nobody is evil and everybody is good in this world. And that is you living in a dream world then. The reality is, and I told you this, part of the Prakriti, there is positive and there is negative. No, Swamiji, I just only see, we quote Yudhishthira and all. Yudhishthira will see everybody as good and all. That is from a certain level such things are said. Gauna Vakya. Mukhya Vakya is, there are pairs of opposites in the world, and wherever you find one, you will find the other. Otherwise, you will not know the meaning of the other. Two are always there. So here Tulsidaji now tells, and the reality is pointed out, what? Uttama. If you have guests, and so many countless people have come there, right? You have guests. Uttama, some will be, means, like Vishwamitraji, Shatananji Maharaj. Now you as a host, you will have a special seat for them, isn't it? But it's a natural thing. You will have different types of guests. See, Naraji, he comes. Bhagwan Shiva comes in some form there. What type of guest? Uttam is called. Madhyama, in middle. Nature. The last. And Laghu. Laghu means little children and all. So you will have all different types. And there is a recognition that this is the way the world is. I told you a very simple story now. Everybody in the world cannot be same. If everybody was same, that would lead to anartha. This injustice and or what you call untenable situation. One fellow rubber lamp and a genie came out. So the genie said, okay, I give you 3 wishes now. Okay, I'll ask for these wishes. But genie said, but anything I give you, I have to give everybody. My genieism is not so well polished. I cannot work it so well yet. I'm still learning. So anything I give you, I have to give to everybody. The fellow said, I don't mind, you give. I want to become a millionaire. So the genie said, Tathastu. He was an Indian genie. So everybody became millionaire immediately. So he said, next boon. He said, wait, let me try out this. Make sure I really am a millionaire. So he looked outside and watched, everybody became millionaires, really. But then he found himself in a problem. He noticed that the grass in his yard was tall. So he told a fellow who was passing, he said, come and cut this grass, I will pay you. The fellow said, you come and cut mine, I will pay you. Now who will cut who grass? Because he also is a millionaire. Na? This world could work if that happens? It can't. It definitely cannot work. So there is a recognition of the variety in the world. There is a recognition of some being more fortunate and some being less fortunate. The social problem that arises from that is one departs from the recognition and one makes out of that whole thing a system of suppression, a system of oppression, a system of advantage. That is where the social problem comes. Now you start singing bhajan, there is no ucha, no nicha, no not all that kind of thing. Samajh mein aa gaya? So, if we just make the recognition, and everything in its place, and a place for everything. Everybody in their place, and a place for everybody. The world works nicely. Everybody should be proud of what Bhagwan has given him to do in this lifetime. That is all. Bhagwan has given me this thing to do in this lifetime. I should be proud and happy with that thing. And this is the idea. So, the scriptures have so many lines like this. Very clearly. Uttam, Madhyama, Neecha. All the different type of people, they all took their respective seats and all of that. Now, Bhagwan Ram and Lakshmana walked into that pandal, Yajna Shala, and Oho, Rajakwarti, Avasara, Aye, Manoharata, Tanachaye. Their beauty swept everybody away. That is the idea. Gunasagar, Nagar, Barabira, Sundar, Syamala, Gaura, Sarira, one dark and one fair, the storehouse of all great qualities. And there was a resplendence about them as they walked in. Raja Samaj, Birajat, Rure, Udaganam, Manu, Janu, Juga Vidhu, Pure. Now, what is in several verses, and going on and on, Tulsidas Ji tells a most wonderful thing. And this is the nature of the human being. Whatever is in his eyes, that is what he sees outside. That is the idea. Means whatever is in his psyche, he sees that outside. Like if you're a police officer, you're always suspicious of everybody. Well, that's just a crude example, but no intention to target Officer Buru who's sitting in the back there. So anyway, Tulsidas Ji's comment. Just the next line. जिनके रही भावना जैसी श्री राम जय राम
जय जय राम
प्रभु मूर्ति जिन देखी तैसी
श्री राम जय राम
मन वीर रसुधरे शरीरा
श्री राम जय जय राम
दरेक तिल नृप प्रभु निहारी
श्री राम जय जय राम
मनहु भयानक मूरति भारी
श्री राम जय जय राम
रहे असुर छल छोनि परदेशा
श्री राम जय राम
तिन प्रभु प्रगत काल सम देखा
श्री राम जय राम
श्री राम जय राम जय राम
श्री राम जय राम
जय रघुराम
जय रघुराम
जय सीताराम
जय सीताराम
श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय. This is the line, and the line is very famous line. I had heard long time ago. What is it? जिनके रही भावना जैसी प्रभु मूर्ति तिन देखी तैसी. So if you have your Ramayana at home, you're following after 240, about 3 or 4 lines down. Let me tell you the meaning of the principle, the idea, and then you see the examples. This is how Tulsidaji presents very clearly and very nicely. He presents like that. What is that? As is the feeling and the vision and the attitude and all of that, bhavana word is used. So we have some feeling, some understanding, some attitude, some, all that outlook. Let's just one generic word for all of it. As is our outlook. So, Prabhu Murati Tinha Dekhi Taisi. As was everybody's outlook there, attitude and outlook and the way so they saw Prabhu. So the general principle is the general principle is this. One fellow tied his cow in a patch of dried grass. Now which smart cow go eat dry grass? But the fellow went down the road and he buy a pair of green shades, green sunglasses, and he put it on for the cow. And when he come back, cow eat out everything. No, this is some story somebody made up. Anyway, the idea is, as is our goggles, so we'll see the world. And now he gives the example. What is that? Dekhi roop maharana thira manahu bir rasa dhare sarira. Means all those who were ranadhir in that audience. I mean, thousands of people were there, right? All those who were ranadhir means great heroic people on the battlefield. They, when they saw Bhagwan Ram, they thought, oh, this is Bir Ras, the heroic sentiment in the universe itself has incarnated and come here. When they saw Bhagwan Ram. Because they themselves are ranadhir. Those are heroic people. So they saw heroism itself incarnated there. The next line. Dare kutil nripa prabhu nihari manahu bhayanaka murati bhari. And those evil kings who were sitting there, they saw a very terrible form of Bhagwan. Bhayanaka murati. It means to say that I have evil, and when I see some tremendous force, I get scared. That is the idea. Rahe asur chala cho nipa besha tina prabhu pragata kala samadekha. And all those rakshasas who had gathered there and disguised themselves as kings. Many rakshasas were disguised as kings there. Tina prabhu pragata kala samadekha. They saw Bhagwan as Kal himself. Death himself has come. Then Purvasina dekhe do bhai narabhushana lochana sukhadai. means all the people of Ayodhya. They saw these two who came as Narabhushan and Lochan. They are ornaments to human beings, and Lochana, Sukhadai, and they give joy in me, the people of Janakpur, because Janakji Maharaj was such a great and wonderful leader. All the people also of that type, they saw ornaments to humanity in Bhagwan Ram and Lakshmana. So everybody, Nari bilo kai harashiya, nija nija ruchi anurup, like that. He goes on for lines and lines. Now, I cannot read all the lines for you. You'll have to go home and read it yourself. Like that, Tulsidas gives so many examples of different people who saw Bhagwan in different ways. Harashe janakude hido bhai muni pada kamalar kahe tab jai. And Janakji Maharaj, now seeing the two, Bhagwan Rama Lakshmana, come there, he was very happy. Look here, everybody there, including Janakji Maharaj, was wishing only Bhagwan Ram to be the groom of Sita ji. But what to say, Janakji Maharaj already is given his word. What is the word? Only who breaks the bow will marry Sita ji. But everybody were wishing, everyone was wishing the same thing. Now after 244, see this. Prabhu hi dekhi sab nripa hi hare.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Janu rakesh uday bhai tare.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Asim pratiti sabke man mahi.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Ram chap to rab sak nahi.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Binu bhanje ubhav dhanush visala.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Mili hi siye Ram urmala.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
As bichare gavan ghar bhai.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Jasu pratap balu tej gavai.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram,
Jai Jai Ram. Syavar Ramachandra ki jai. Prabhu hi dekhi sab nripa hi hare. Now all the kings who had gathered there, all who had some desire in their mind to have Sita ji as their bride, all of them who had gathered there, when they saw Bhagwan Ram enter that Yajna Shala, here hare, in their heart of heart they realized we are defeated. And Bhagwan entered there. Janu, like how? Janu means like. What? Rakesh udaya bhaya tare. Like when the sun itself or the moon itself, rises, Rakesh moon, among all the stars, full moon. When a full moon rises, who looks at stars? No, who is looking at any king there? Then, asipratiti sabke manamahi ram chapato rab sakanahi. They all thought, other than this Ram, nobody will be able to break that bow. But of course, these are some of the kings who were there, not all of them. You will have Binubhanjeu bhava dhanusha visala melihi siya ram uramala asabichari gavanahu ghare bhai. Some of them, some of these kings who were there, Viveki Tulsidas he calls them. Viveki, those who can think well. They thought, look, forget about breaking this bow and thing, just let Shipuri Mala on he neck. Forget about breaking, and they gone home. They just go home, they just give up like that and gone home. Jasu Pratapu Balu, Teja Gawai, those who were well. Bihase apar bhoop suni bani je. Even if the bow is, nobody breaks the bow, let her just put the mala on his neck. Bihase apar bhoop suni bani je abhivek. Now those who are abhiveki, abhivek andha abhimani, those who are blind. Aviveki means can't think clearly, properly. Abhimani, full of ego and all that. Torehu dhanushu byahu avagaha binutore ko kuari byaha. Breaking this bow is not so easy. Some of those kings who were there, Gamandi means proudy and all. Breaking this bow is not such an easy thing. Don't get fooled. Who can break this bow and marry that princess? Nobody. Like that they were thinking. People have less estimation of the power of God. That is the idea. Then, Sita ji still is not there. All this talk only going on yet. Janakji Maharaj, now see, 246. Janakji Maharaj thought it is time Sita ji comes there.
अवसर सिय तब पथई जनक बोलाई राम पथई जनक बोलाई चतुर सखी सुंदर सकल सादर चली लवाई सिया कर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम.
जानी सु अवसर सिय तब पठई जनक बोलाई सु अवसर means the right time had come. Janakji Maharaj thought it is best that Sita ji comes here now, and Chatur Sakhi Sundar Sakala Sadar Chali Lavai. He sent now her friends, go and bring Sita ji. Siya Sobha Nahi Jai Bakhani Jagadambika Rupa Gunakhani. That's Sita ji, who is Jagadambika, the mother of the whole universe. Sita and her beauty, Jai Nahi Jai Bakhani, is indescribable. Upama Sakalam Mohi Lagulagi Prakritanari Anga Anuhari. Tulsidaji said, I am not going to even attempt to describe the beauty of Sita ji, because beauty is, which we describe worldly beings, we describe only for ordinary people. How I will describe the mother of the whole universe? He doesn't even attempt to make any description. Then, Bhushana Sakala Sude Sasuhaye Anga Angarachi Sakina Banaye. All her friends had actually, this is not very difficult for us to see. Like even yesterday I went to a wedding. When I went there, they were just, the bride went up to get dressed to come back. Something like that goes on. The bride goes, now when the bride goes there, the people are waiting there to dress her up. And then people are waiting to bring her back. People take her, bring her, and the same thing happened here. Chali Sangale, Sakhi Sayani, this is after 247. Gavat Geet Manohar Bani Sohanavala Tanu Sundar Sari Jagat Janani Atulit Chavi Hari of immeasurable beauty. Tulsidas, those type of words only he is using. Now see, just lined after that. रंग भूमि जब सिय पगुधारा
श्री राम जय जय राम
देख रूप मोहे नर नारी
श्री राम जय राम
रंग भूमि जब सिय पगुधारी हर्षि सुरन दुंदुभि बजाई
श्री राम जय राम
वर्षि प्रसून अक्षरा गाई
श्री राम जय राम
पानी सरोज सोह जय माला
श्री राम जय राम
अवचत चित ये सकल भुआला
श्री राम जय राम
जय रघुराम जय सीताराम
जय सीताराम
श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय। रंगभूमि जब सिय पगु धारी. Sita ji entered that Rangabhumi. Rangabhumi is description now. See how many different descriptions. That Yajna Shala. Then Rangabhumi, now it is description is being given. Different, all referring to the same place. Huh? Rangabhumi means a place filled with so much of nice colors and decorated and all that. Jabasiya Pagudhari, Dekhi Roop, Mohe, Naranari, all men and women there became enamored by her beauty. This is the description. Then Harashi Surana Dundubi Bhajai. Then all the devatas started playing their drums. Dundubi. Then Barashi Prasoon Apshara Gai. And all the Apsaras, they started singing and raining down flowers. I told you they have an inexhaustible source of flowers in their lokas, in their respective lokas. So they go on raining down flowers. Then Pani Saroj, and this description. Pani Saroj Soha Jayamala. Sita ji in her lotus hands was carrying a Jayamala. This is the Jayamala. This is Jayamala which you all sing about all the time. Jayamala, Jayamala, Siya. What is this song? I heard. You sing, you know. Siya Jayamala. Yes. Siya Dali. Yes. Avachata kiye. See, this I actually sang the line because of this. I want you to see. You please see. Sita ji has already set her mind on Ram. It's a Purani Sambandh. We saw an old relationship, right? Because this is Lakshmi Narayan. So she has already set her mind on Ram. They have seen each other and she knows and this and that, and she got the blessing from Gauri and all that we saw. Right? But here are thousands of kings and princes have come from everywhere. And see how she is so well brought up and how she is so well cultured and all of that. All of them, avachata chitaye sakala bhuala. You see, even though she has already set her mind on Ram and this is all destined and blessed already and everything, right? But you are a host, and there are so many countless kings and princes have come from everywhere. And so she takes time to look at all of them. She doesn't say in her mind, man, look, me had time with all of these people, now I don't make my choice already. You understand that thing? But these are people who have come from everywhere, and her father has announced this Dhanush Yajna and all of this. And so they came from everywhere. So her finesse in her etiquette and all that is so good. She takes time and she looks at all of them. Not to dismiss everybody in a fit of arrogance. Like that. It's a wonderful thing, actually. So, she looks then. Of course, her mind is already set. We saw. Siya chakit chit ramahi chaha bhay mano mohavasa sava nara naha muni samip dekhe du bhai. Now she looked around after looking at all of these kings and princes who had come there and all that. And she looks around for Bhagwan Ram. Now the people also looking at her at the same time, everybody. But then Muni Sami Padekhe Du Bhai, she saw the two of them sitting next to the Muni, next to Vishwamitraji, the great sage. Then Lage Lalaki Lochana Nidhi Pae, and her eyes felt that special attraction because she had now seen her gem, jewel, Ram, who was sitting there. Okay, now see. 248. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Gurjan Laj Samaj Bada Dekhi Siya Sakuchani Lagi Bilokan Sakhinatana Raghuvir hi Urani Siyavar Ramachandra ki Jai Sharanam Sitarama Siyavar
Ramachandra ji ki Jai Sharanam
Sitarama Siyavar
Ramachandra ji ki Jai Sharanam
सियावर रामचंद्र की जय. गुरुजन लाज समाज बड़ा देखी सी सकुचानी. Where she saw Bhagwan Ram sitting where? Next to the Guru, and all the sages. And then she felt bashful. I better to look there, because the Guru, and I'm going to say, I look in there. Like that. Lagi below kana sakhinatana Raghubirahi Ura Ani. And seeing Bhagwan Ram, she brought him into her heart, and then she looked at her sakhis, means her friends who were there. And see, all the human sentiments are there in detail in the whole Ramayana. And why I'm pointing out these things, a small thing like shame, large word is used there. Large word is shame. Small thing like shame, it is very, very important actually. Human sentiments like these, they are good things. Because when somebody calls you shameless, then what? You feel good? No. So shame also is there. Otherwise, the world in which we are living today, people are taught not to have any shame at all. This is teaching. But large word is there. She was ashamed, bashful, and all that kind of thing. And so she took her eyes away. But see, real life there. Haruvidivegi Janaka, Jaratai. Now the people's thought, what they're thinking. Look at this Rama. the very embodiment of beauty. And look at this Sita ji, the consort of this beauty. Between the two of them, we don't know who is more. The people are thinking like that. Between two of them, you don't know who. Harubidi begi, then the people's prayer. This is some lines down. Hey Prabhu, hey Vidhi, Prabhu, you remove this jarata from Janak's mind, you know. Why you make this condition? This thing should not be there. Mati hamari asi dehi suhai. And give him what we have in our mind. What is that? We think that two of them should get married. What to talk about to breaking bow and all of these things? Why you should make all this breaking bow and all? No need. So they're praying to Bhagwan. You remove this thing from Janak's mind. Binu vichar panutaji naranahu. Let him give up this condition which he has put without even thinking about it. Siya Rama kare vivahu. And let Sita ji marry Rama. All the people who are sitting there praying like this. Jagu bhala kahi bhav sab kahu hatakin heu antahu ura dahu. Ehi lalasa magana sabalo. Everybody was drowned in this type of desire. Baru sawaro Janaki jogu. This most fitting groom for Janaki ji is this dark fellow who's sitting there next to Vishwamitra ji. That is the idea. This is their prayer. Then, of course, I told you now, prayers are like that only. If we pray, but if all prayers used to be answered, everybody would have had everything, isn't it? Because prayer, what we know as prayer today, is beggary only. If wishes were horses, beggars would. Right. Janakji Maharaj said, okay, let us now start this thing. Start this Swayamvar, or start this Dhanush Yajna. What is that? He told all the poets and all the bards and the different musicians and all the people who are, now you all start, and they started chanting and announcing, and there's so many things started going on now. Then, kings who were there, they all now started to move forward to try to lift this bow. See, after 249. Nripabuja bala vidhu siva dhanurahu Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Garua kathor vidit sab kahu
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Ravanu banu mahavat bhare
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
dekhi sarasan gavai sidhare
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram
Soi purari ko dandu kathora
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Raj samaj aaj joi tora
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Jai Raghuram
Jai Raghuram
Jai Sitaram Jai
Sitaram
Syamar Ramachandra ki jai. We saw yesterday that the bow represented tamas, but the representation is not only one. It can represent many things, isn't it? It is usually like that. Tulsidashi writes very nicely. Nripa Bhuja Bala, Bidu. Nripa Bhuja Bala means all the strength of all the kings who had gathered there with intention to get Sita ji as their wife. All those kings, they were all very powerful men. So all of their strength, he says, Nripa Bhuja Bala Bidhu is like the moon. All their power put together is like the moon. Then Sivadhanu, that bow, that's like a Rahu. Rahu means the one who swallows the moon. One person is swallow the moon. That bow swallow all of their. Garua Kathora Bidita Sabakahu, and all of them knew it is terrible. It is very, very difficult to string that bow. And see the next line, very interesting. And here is where the Praman is there. Sometimes you're looking for these verses and all, you wonder where they are. Ravan Banu Mahabhata Bhare. Ravan and Banasur, they were both there. Ravan and Banasur, they were there also in that crowd. Then what happened? Dekhi Sarasan. Then Gavahi Sidhare. Why? Soi Purari Kodanda Kathora. It is difficult to break that bow. Both of them look and left. They gone home. Ravana and Banasur. Mandodari will, and others bring it up later on in different Ramayana and all. If you wanted Sita ji, why you didn't stay there and break the bow? You gone home? Like that. Anyway, a very interesting thing is Ravana was there. Kodanda Kathora, very difficult to break this bow. Actually, I heard a nice story about who break the bow. You heard that? The school supervisor came into a Hindu school, you know. You know, in Trinidad we have Hindu schools. The school supervisor came to the Hindu school. He was a Hindu, so he said, let me ask some question about what kind of Hindu school we have here. Hindu school. So he asked one boy, oh, hey, who broke that Shiva Dhanush? The bow. Who broke that Shiva Dhanush? That boy said, sir, not me. So the supervisor, what is this? It's a Hindu school. He asked the teacher, what is this? I'm asking the boy who broke the Shiva Dhanush. He said, not him. The teacher said, Arey sir, no need to get upset. You know. He's a small boy. After some time, he'll know the answer. So the supervisor get more vexed now. He went to the principal. He said, what kind of thing is this? Asked the boy who broke the bow. He said, not he, not he. And then, when I told the teacher said, he's a small boy, he's not expected to know that answer. The principal said, why are you so angry? If the bow break, it break, now we'll replace it. You know the next part of that? That supervisor went home and he tell his wife the story. The wife said, you see, none of them knew because they don't read the Bhagavad Puran. The supervisor drop everything and he takes sannyas. Hare Rama. Anyway, so this Ravan was present there and all the other kings now. To Sita is already told. Who tried to break the bow? Those who were aviveki. Those who were vivekis, they knew. Now see, this is just before 250. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
तम की ताकित की शिव धनु धरहि उठई न कोटि भांति भलु करई.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
जिनके कछु विचार मन माही चाप समीप महीपन
Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
नम की धरहि धनु मूढ़ निप उठई न चलहि न जाई मन उपाय भत बाहुबलु अधिक अधिक गुरु आई सियावर रामचंद्र जी जय शरणम सीताराम सियावर रामचंद्र जी जय शरणम सीताराम तमकिता कितकी शिवधनु धरहि. They went there with anger and pride and all sorts of things in their mind like that. What is that? Revved up, what do you call it? To break that bow, to lift that bow. Uthai na koti bhati balu karahi. So many of them tried so hard to lift that bow. Jinke kachu vicharu, Tulsidas ji says, Jinke kachu vicharu manamahi. Who went there? Aviveki. Those who cannot think properly. Right? Those who could think properly, he said, Chapa samipa mahipa najahi. They did not go near the bow. So the idea is, and see again, we are seeing all the important things in life. Huh? What is that? The idea is, you should not do like the cow and think you could jump over the moon. That is the idea. Huh? Sometimes people come up, sometimes, I've seen many times, people come up with such a great lofty idea about something, and they get into it also not being able to estimate their own capabilities and their own. Of course, there are many people who have the capability and they can do that. But many people don't have the capability. So we have to have a very good estimation of our own capabilities, what we are capable of achieving and what we are not capable. That is Vivek. What we are not capable of achieving. You want to jump over the moon? Hickory dickory dock. Mouse ran up. Hickory dickory dock, 2 mice ran up the clock. The clock struck one and the other one escaped unhurt. But that is not the story of the cow jump over the moon. That is a different one. Okay, sorry about that. What is the one with the cow jump over the moon? Hey, diddle diddle. Okay, sorry about it. So, we have to, the idea is, one who is a Viveki, he should know his strengths and know his weaknesses. That is Viveki. That is what Tulsidas ji, why he is taking time to write all of this. In the same chaupai, some of them went there with great anger and pride and so many things. Leave me alone, I'll finish this bow. Then what happened? He come back, not being able to do anything. And those who had a little bit of vivek, kachubicharu manamahi, they didn't go close. And tamaki dharahi, dhanu moor and what I said. And those who went to try to break it, then moor he calls. Moor. Moor means foolish. Uthai na chalahi lajai. Means, and he is connecting the two, he's putting the two things in one line. Shame and mood. Means what? An intelligent person will also have shame. That is the idea. Then, Manahu Pai Bhata Bahubalu Adhika Adhika Garu Ai. Tulsidas ji puts a nice line there. He says, it appears as though every king who went there to try to lift that bow, the bow took their power and became heavier. Adhika adhika garuai. Heavier, more and more heavy it became. He went there to lift it, and then couldn't lift it, and it took all his power, and it became heavier. Better Bhagwan, go first. Bhupa sahasa dasa ekahi bara. And then what happened? They thought, I told you na, all the bad guys, they are always united. I told them one of the previous days, na? They say, man, one can lift the bow, this one can lift the bow, that one can lift the bow. Ravan Banasur on himself. Right? All of we try to lift it one time. Ek bhupa sahasa dasa. 10,000 of them try to lift it one time. They quickly unite, you know. Lage, uthavana, tarai, natara. What to talk about lift? They couldn't even shake it. They couldn't even shake the bow. Well, this bow will be broken, but this bow will be broken tomorrow. Because one person is blessed there by the great Rishi, Vishwamitraji. And one person's destiny is only to marry Sita ji. I have to stop because now 250, you know. 250 has come. And after that, nobody has chanted yet, so we have to see that tomorrow now. Okay. Now, after it is broken also, big trouble will be there now. You think everything easy? Insurmountable problem, this breaking. Then that is broken now. Another big trouble will happen. Okay. Now you look forward to that trouble. All right. Let me. Today, Dashadoha chanting was members of the Triveni Mandir. They're gone. Some still here. Thank you all. Nice chanting. I was listening from over there. Members of the Triveni Mandir. Prasad will be received by Dr. Darryl Ramdat. Not here tonight. It will be given at some other time. Tomorrow, Dharma ki Awaaz, White Land. Tomorrow we'll have this Ramayana in White Land, Dharma ki Awaaz. On the group, the directions and everything is usually sent out. Shiv Ganga Yatra on 27th, we will be walking around Hanumanji 108 times on the 27th from 4 a.m. Hanumanji at the Dattatreya Center. Okay. From 4 a.m. Jalpan extravaganza, our Jalpan food fair will be on 6th of March. Those of you who can sponsor flour and rice and dal and whatever, please see the list at the back and do some sponsorship. Okay. Saturday Sanskar. Saturday Sanskaraha. Sanskaraha. Sanskaraha, no? On Saturdays from 9 to 11, now Sanskar for children. First half hour will be mantra chanting, next half hour will be stories, next half hour will be learning to read Sanskrit, and next half hour bhajans, like that. So you should sign up your children for these classes. Please have a look at our bookstall at the back on your way out. Art of God symbolism, all these symbolic aspects of the scriptures, vision of Vedanta, and many children's titles are there. Okay. अब आरती करेंगे, फिर ख़त्म कर देंगे, कल देखेंगे. आरती के लिए सब खड़े हो जाएंगे. आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीर्ति कलित ललित सियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीर्ति कलित ललित सियपी की। गावत ब्रह्मादिक मुनि नारद, वाल्मीकि विज्ञान विशारद। सुख सनकादि शेष अरु सारद, गणनि पवन सुत कीरति की।
आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीर्ति कलित ललित सियपी की।
आरती श्री रामायण जी की,
कीर्ति कलित ललित सियपी की।
गावत वेद पुराण अष्टदश, छौ शास्त्र सब ग्रंथन को रस। मुनिजन धन संतन को सर्वस, सार अंश सम्मत सब ही की।
आरती श्री रामायण जी की,
कीर्ति कलित ललित सियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीर्ति कलित ललित सियपी की।
गावत संतत शंभु भवानी, अर्घत संभव मुनि विज्ञानी। व्यास आदि कवि वर्ज बखानी, काव्य शुंड गरुड़ के ही की।
आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीर्ति कलित ललित सियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीर्ति कलित ललित सियपी की।
कलिमल हरनि विषय रस पीकी, सुभग सिंगार मुक्ति युवती की।
हर निरोग
पूरी अमी की, तात माट सब विधि तुलसी की।
आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीर्ति कलित ललित सियपी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीर्ति कलित ललित सियपी की।
श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय
राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय
राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम
जय जय मंगलम भगवान विष्णु, मंगलम गरुड़ध्वजः, मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्षं, मंगलायतनो हरिः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। बोलो सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय, श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। नमः पार्वती पते हर हर